What's good? What's good? I'm back. One and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast. Shouts out to my man OG Prestige. Appreciate the like, appreciate the love. See who's on Instagram. 208 Samurai 44. Appreciate you. And Matt Curbine 1986. Appreciate you. I'm gonna give our guest a little bit of time to come on. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna just go over what's going on with the BKFC right now. Of course, you know they got a bunch of events lined up already for this year. They got Newcastle, BKFC Fight Night Newcastle, March 14th. March 20th, they got BKFC 87, which our guest is going to be fighting on. And then you got March 26th or 28th, it looks like. BKFC Fight Night Mohegan Sun. Porter versus Wilson, and of course, Hollywood is Stewart versus Gaffey, and Newcastle's McTerrell versus McFarlane. Then they got a bunch of other ones lined up still. No fight cards yet for them. BKFC Fight Club, BKFC Fight Night Honolulu, BKFC 88 Denver. Hopefully, we'll see Marcus um, Edwards on that card. BKFC Fight Night Australia. I heard Australia was like kind of acting like bare knuckle was a little too violent for them at first, and they didn't want to really do it. BKFC Fight Night Clearwater, Warren versus Connor Cook. They got that whole fight card is pretty much set. You got the Reber versus Joshua Oxendine fight coming up now. I just interviewed Joshua Oxendine. Go check that interview out. Tony Murphy, Justin Williams, and Crystal Van Wink and Kat Popraki. And let me message our guest, let him know we're ready for him. Uh, all right, so then we got Mike Hecker and Justin Walters. Brandon Allen's back fighting Luca Jones. Diego Romo, Eric Westbury, Jason D'Annunzio versus Israel Rodriguez. Chachi Versace, who should have won his last fight. I would say the ref kind of screwed him, but he did get a little overzealous with not going to the corner, and the ref just, he tried to punish him for it. So he's fighting Gabriel Hernandez and Thomas Jungles versus Anthony Grubbs as well. And also heard Zach Kalmus got released from BKFC. I hate to hear that, man. Like Zach Kalmus, actually the first guy I interviewed on this podcast as far as the fighters go. Not count when I produced another podcast that we're not gonna mention their name and give them any free promotion. But yeah, I was shocked to hear that Zach got released. Don't know what he's got in mind next, but hopefully it all works out for him. Definitely like Zach. Definitely a very entertaining, animated guy. But his last few fights, man, he has taken a lot of punishment. So we about to bring on our guest. This guy's tough as nails, man. Tough as nails. Over 50 MMA fights under his belt, fought in promotions like Bellator, King of the Cage, and much, much more. He's going to be fighting March 20th, Hard Rock Hotel Casino, Hollywood, Florida, for BKFC. I think it's 87, where he's looking to redeem the rematch with Jeremy Smith, the pit bull. Let's bring on the one and only Donald Sanchez. Donald, how
What's
you
up,
doing,
man?
man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the weather out there? You in New Mexico, right?
Yeah, we're New Mexico. It's actually it's nice weather this week. Last week it was snowing, but we got bipolar weather over here, so we're good this week.
Sounds like North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina, and I always say we got bipolar weather.
For sure. So, but yeah, it's been good this week.
That's what's up. Before we get into this fight, I just wanna ask you a few questions about your journey, if you don't mind. Um,
Yeah,
so I wanna
let's
start
do
here.
it.
It said you trained with, Jackson Wink MMA Academy, and I heard a lot about it. What was that experience like for you?
You know, that was it was cool. I got to help a lot of guys, big name people with their camps and everything. I originally come from a different gym. It was called
Okay.
Fit NHB, and that was the original home to Carlos Condit, Timmy Means, people like that. And we I eventually jumped over a little bit after Carlos did as well. It was cool and everything. I had already made a name for myself and done what I did. But I formed good relationships with some top people over there and everything. It was great training and everything, but it came to an end, and now I'm on my own. I have my own gym and we're forming our own boxing thing and everything. I'm kind of split away from MMA, the MMA scene. I don't really care for it. I don't want to be a part of it. So I went strictly boxing, and bare knuckle fits perfect for that.
What was it about MMA that made you wanna, like, separate yourself from it?
You know, um the wrestlers were getting too good and they were coming in dominating the sport. It was just a sport at the it wasn't really a fight. It was
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we could get good with jujitsu and do all this stuff, or maybe land these punches, kicks, knees, whatever we could. But these damn wrestlers, they're good, and they're making the sport
Yeah.
boring. In my opinion, I can respect if you take someone down and maul them, beat the crap out of them. But if you're gonna take them down and just hold them to win by points, that's a little boring. So I
That's
kind of I
exactly why I feel about MMA. It's boring because of the wrestling aspect. Like you said, if guys are just throwing kicks, throwing knees, throwing punches, it's more exciting, man, but it does get boring when a guy's just got a guy pinned down for minutes at a time, man, and nobody's doing nothing.
Yeah, I used to always say, damn, I got another wrestler. They're gonna sit there and try to hump my legs. Sucks. But it is what it is. I got tired with that sport. I was just doing it to do it. It was just a sport to me, and I walked away. I fought at a high level of boxing too. I was with Top Rank. I fought on the
Okay,
first Jake Paul card and stuff like that. Most people don't
okay.
know that either, but and then COVID hit, and I said, nah, screw it, I'm done. Business is good. I had a great business at the time, and I walked away from it. I From everything. I thought I was done. Then Bare Knuckle called me when they were coming out here, and I was like, oh shit, hell yeah, I want to do this. This is fun. Um, but nothing taken away from Jeremy Smith or anyone. That was my first fight, but I
Yeah,
did it. I did it, and I took it with a different aspect of thing. I did it like I was training like MMA. Just another
okay.
day. It was just another day. It was just a sport to me, and I did it to lose weight and to be active. And I got in there, and he cracked me. And ever since that very first punch, I was like, "Oh, this is why I really joined MMA in the first place."
Yeah.
The real fight, the real that you have to be, you got to have balls, you got to have heart, you got to be a dog for it. So I loved it, and I realized I had more in me, and I was gonna go for it. So here we are, 7 8 fights later, whatever it is.
So when you come from MMA and boxing, like you say, you just come to this debut, they call you. So you wasn't even really thinking about getting into it until they reached out to you. I mean,
Yeah.
don't you think like a fighter should be entitled a little bit of learning curve when you come into something new like this?
Oh man, I never had a learning curve. I never had an amateur
Okay,
background. I went into a gym on a Wednesday afternoon, and they asked me to fight on a Friday for my first professional MMA fight.
okay.
So, and that's a wrap. That my learning was on the job, and that's how it happened with bare knuckle too. but I had a high level of MMA. I had a high level of boxing, so it worked well. Now I know what to put together for that, and what I have to do in between. That it's not really like this. It's a crazy sport, man. It's a good mix of MMA and boxing, honestly, with the different movements and everything like that. But you got to turn your punches a little different than straight boxing, and you got to do a little more movement MMA in between MMA and boxing wise, I guess I could say.
So, have you went back and looked at the previous fight with Jeremy, or is you just kind of moved on and with a different game plan?
I just went and moved on. I do what I do. I don't really worry about my opponents. They always say, you go in with plan A until you get hit in the face.
Okay.
But you gotta stick to that. You gotta stick to what you learn and what you know, not what they learn and what they know. Obviously, I gotta find my areas where I'm better than him, and
Mhm.
that's gonna be on the job. If my jab isn't working, then I have a cross, or I have a hook, or I have a step. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is. This is like it's like chess. You gotta move a few steps ahead, and you gotta see what's coming. So you can't really. I don't. I don't like to game plan. I don't like to look back on old videos or anything. But I know how to push myself. I know how to get better. And I may be a little older, but I still get better every freaking day.
Well, I watched a few of Jeremy's fights, and his fighting style seems really the same every fight. He keeps his hands really close to his face. He seems more of like a defensive guy and just tries to get his punches when he can. I mean, is this a guy you think you could take advantage of, like the body shots and stuff?
You know, I think so, yeah, but it's kind of hard to hit the body with bare knuckle. You hit it wrong and you're gonna mess up your hand. So,
Okay.
I gotta pick my shots wisely, make sure I don't miss that body shot and hit the hip or something, break my hand. Stupid stuff like that. It's very finicky on how you throw your punches. So, um, this time around, though, I mean, I've shown I've gotten better as the fights have gone. I don't really think I've been the same fighter every fight.
Mhm.
I've had a different style almost every time. I've fought every freaking different style too, so I've had to adjust. And the way I say I game plan for things is, it's a ring IQ. You got to know what you got to do once you're in there. So um, I really, I'll just say this: I've never lost to one opponent twice if I rematched them.
So this is
So
kind of like a redemption fight for you though, right? Because this your the debut guy, like it was your only loss for at least 4 or 5 straight fights where you won, and then you had to fight the title shot with Redneck.
yeah,
Um, that went 5 rounds as too. There was a lot of people actually kind of getting on Redneck because, like, you took him 5 rounds.
yeah, man. Yeah, this is redemption for sure. I have all the respect for Jeremy. I thank him to this day. We still talk every once in a while, and I thank him for pushing me and bringing that dog back out in me. Um, but I just got to go in there and show that I'm the better fighter than when he really fought me the first time. As for Redneck, I still feel like I'm the only one in that weight class that can beat him. However, that wasn't my day. I didn't execute right. I'm not gonna make excuses, but I tore my elbow in the first round. Um, I was fighting with one hand that whole fight. So
Yeah.
and I still took him the distance. He um, but I think I go in there and I don't fuck up my elbow. I'm winning that fight. That's for sure.
I mean, cause when he did knock you down, it wasn't like I mean, you got up like real quick on pretty much every single knockdown. A lot of you could tell it wasn't like really bad knockdowns that when he did knock you down. So you definitely have a there's a shot there. And Redneck, I mean, like people are saying he's looking kind of vulnerable, I think, right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Redneck Mendel fan, but I think he looks kind of vulnerable, and I was a little disappointed with the last fight. So I think there's
Man,
definitely room for somebody to come take that title from him, because he probably showed some vulnerability.
yeah, I mean, you got to give the man credit. He went up
Oh, I love
to a
him. I love
very high
him.
level of fight, but I mean, but Lorenzo just he lands that punch, and when he lands it, it's it's good night for anybody pretty much. So, um, I give Redneck mad credit for that. Respect for that. I actually bet on him for that fight, and I lost. So,
Did you?
yeah. So I
How much
because
would you
I
have stood to
know
gain?
what's that.
How much would you have stood to gain?
I think I think it was like 4 grand or something. I put a grand or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know my skill set and I know how he handled me, which was
Uh-huh.
very good. He outclassed me big time, and I know how good I really am. So I saw a different. He just yeah, he just. I don't think he had enough time to prepare for that. I don't think he seemed a little chubby, but whatever. You know what I mean? You got to take those fights when they come. You have to.
Especially in the BKFC. I mean, because you're fighting 2 weight classes, right? So I would
Yep.
think part of the reason you fight 2 weight classes is so you can get more fights.
Yeah, yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's probably not the smartest thing to go up in weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't like to cut weight anymore. I'm older. I do not want to cut weight. I mean, I should be fighting at 165. Honestly, I walk
Okay.
around 180 tops usually. I'm trying to eat double right now to fight at 190 for this fight. So, um, but I just don't want to cut weight. I do not want to do it. I'm too old. I did it for too long. And I feel like in my MMA career that affected me way too much. I was only fighting on grit and heart at that point because I was going down to 145, bro. So
Damn.
it's ridiculous. Yeah. I look back on the photos and I use it for my boxing team now to tell these kids, don't do what I did. I promise you, you're going to be better just sticking around a certain weight class and only having to cut a few pounds if that's it. Don't fucking cut 20 pounds, bro. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, when you gotta do that, I mean, I've interviewed enough fighters that they say it'd be like the very last day before they even make the weight. So they basically put themselves through hell, straining their body and energy just to get down to that weight, man. It's
Yeah.
tough.
It's tough, and it takes away from the actual skill and the skill that you get that you train so hard for. I remember at a point I was more focused on cutting weight for the last 3 weeks than I was for skill, movement, heart
Skill,
rate,
yeah.
recovery, all this stuff. There's so many aspects you got to do. You got to track your heart, you got to track your recovery, you got to track everything. And at that point, when I was cutting so much, I didn't track anything but cutting weight.
I respect fighters so much. I I was a musician, and musicians, when we first got into it, we loved it, but then it gets to a point where everything's about money. I mean, a lot of fighters barely make a living off of this, gotta work other jobs, have a business like you. I mean, it's been almost a year since you fought, right?
Mm, I think it was maybe like 6 months or something like that. Hey, yeah, I guess it
But
has been a
it
year.
still seemed like a
Yeah,
long time to have to wait. Yeah, it's been almost a year. I mean, that's a long time to have to wait for, like, if you get 1
yeah,
fight a year.
yeah. I mean, I may be one of I mean a higher tier of pay or whatever it is for BKFC. I don't know. But to be honest with you, I lose money from business training for fights and going to fight, honestly. So
Oh, man, that
you
sucks.
yeah, I mean, but I do it for the love. It's never been for the money, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's what these youngsters got to learn, the money, yeah, it's coming, but you got to be a freaking superstar to really make it, you know what I mean? So um they're gonna have to learn how to run business or whatever it is to get through. It's just Well, imagine it was. I mean, even what I made a year ago for the fight. I mean, could some people make it for that year? I don't know. You know what I mean? So, just for a fight.
And that's why I respect you guys. Like you said, you're willing to give up business from your your I guess, is that your number one livelihood, your business?
Of course, I mean I have multiple businesses now, but um, I
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I mean yeah, that's my livelihood. I mean, at the end of the day, my livelihood is being a man and doing manly shit. You know what I mean? Getting better every day. That's my livelihood. You know, I wanna be an impact on people. That way, they can be an impact on everybody else around us. That's the only way anything gets better. That's the only way you can do anything. So, the I mean, if you're not good to people, you're not going to make money in business anyways. So that's the
Yeah.
way it works. You know what I mean?
So, whose idea was it to do this rematch? Did they come to you with it?
Yeah, yes, and no. I think both Jeremy and I are older in age, and you know, both of us are towards the end of everything. So I don't know who came up with it, but it was there, and we both said yes, and here we go. I think when I fought him, he was like ranked number 4 or something at 185.
Okay.
And I just want to show, I mean, for me, it's a redemption thing. Yes, there's only a couple fights that make sense for me, and this, moving up in weight and he beat me before it made sense. So I said yes immediately.
Yeah, like, when I'm looking at y'all's weight class earlier, like you said, I don't see too many guys that can contend with, Mundell. I know Drew Stuvie, he's coming up, he's making some waves, but, yeah, man, I mean, you've been holding down that number 1 spot for a hot minute now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I went through my streak and of my people, and I think I probably fought the most experienced people in. I mean, some of them didn't have a great record, but they had the experience and everything. For a fairly new sport. And I fought every single different type of fight too, a style. What's his name? What is it? Marcus Edwards. He's looking real good too, though, man.
You just took that name out of my head. I was sitting there thinking, I mean, if you win this fight, you fight Marcus Edwards, I mean, you should be allowed to kinda ask for another title shot, I would think after that, 'cause if I know Redneck like I know Redneck, he's not trying to fight Marcus Edwards. He wants the
Yeah,
he wants the big money he wants the big money fights, the big name fights. That's why he took this Lorenzo Hunt. He been wanting Mike Perry forever. I don't think he's gonna get it now because I think he's lost any leverage for that.
yeah, I agree. But honestly, I don't. Fuck, man. I would say the way he beat me this last fight, I think Marcus would be up next for that to fight him. And that's just being 100. And I'm not just fighting to fight. So it is what it is, and we'll see what happens, what pans out. So
What's your opinion when guys that are not ranked are calling out the champ to fight?
oh man, I don't know.
I mean,
I guess
everybody gotta call out the champ in a division, I get it.
yeah,
That's the guy you're trying to beat.
for sure, for sure. I don't know. I don't. If you're not in the top 5, you need to earn your way up. You
That's
can't.
what I would say.
Even calling out someone in the top 5 until you're within a couple, you should just go your way, take whatever fight they're gonna give you. Don't turn down fights. Don't fucking get hurt and back out of the fight. You can't bitch about not getting fights and sitting the bench if you're not gonna take fights because maybe you had a little fucking knee injury or whatever it is. You know how many times we've all gone into these fights, and this isn't we can't you can't go in there perfect.
Yeah, I've heard everybody goes into a bare knuckle fight injured at some point. At some whether it's a minor injury or major injury, I've heard they I mean, even Redneck said he tore his meniscus or whatever before that fight. And that's the thing. Y'all guys, sometimes people gotta protect y'all from y'all self. Be like, look, man,
Yeah, for
you can't
sure.
get healthy, get over the injury, because some of the injuries y'all be going in with be like serious ass injuries, but y'all be wanting to fight so bad, man.
Well, you gotta
Y'all love this shit
understand,
so
man. That
much. Y'all
you,
like, yo, fuck
yeah,
it.
you do. You gotta understand, like the sport is growing so fast, and
Yeah,
to jump the spot, man. Like, there's so many good people out here. Like, well, what did you say, that Stu guy or whatever? Look, he just burst
Drew,
onto the
yeah.
scenes. You know what I mean? So it's someone like that that's willing to jump in on an opportunity, and then bam, you're on the shelf. You know what I mean?
And I heard they're about to unify the like it's not gonna be like the UK belts no more or the overseas belts. That's why they're bringing, I guess, Connor Cook in to fight Jared Warren. So I guess they're gonna start trying to bring a lot of these overseas guys to the US because US market is really where it's at with bare knuckle right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. I don't think they should have two separate belts. I mean, yeah, I get it business wise and everything, but I don't know the market over there. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they're selling out shows or doing anything like this one in Philly. That shit was crazy. You know what I mean? 20,000 people. So it was.
Millions
I
of
don't.
viewers.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing that over there. I don't know. I don't know the analytics of all that, but if BKFC is BKFC, there's no point in having two different belts. Not even
Yeah.
interim belts, not even all this bullshit like UFC does with interim this and all this and that. I think there should just be a belt and that's it. If they gotta strip someone, do it. Don't put an interim up.
And you're fighting on what I would say is always probably the most stacked card every year, damn near, is the Hollywood, Florida cards. They always stack the hell out of them cards, yo.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. I've been wanting to go. I've been out there to a couple of them. I know a lot of people in Florida too. I got a lot of people going out there from out here, so we're gonna be rolling deep. I'm gonna have a lot of people there, and I think they're gonna be surprised.
And no disrespect to my women, because I interviewed Shelby Boom Boom Cannon before. But y'all should be like the featured fight. That's the one before the co-main event, I think, the feature
Ye-
fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what order it is, but whatever it is, I just whatever. It is what it is.
Do you ever get caught up in like the fight of the night bonus or the knockout of the night bonus?
Yeah, I got one knockout of the night. I'm not sure about Friday night. I don't ever really pay attention to the aftermath of the thing. Most of the time I go and hang with my family and my friends and stuff right away. I don't even sit around and wait. I don't watch the highlights. I don't, like I said earlier, I don't even go back and watch the film. So I'm not too much of going back on things and paying attention to all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Is that a common thing? I mean, it seems like a common thing where guys just once win or lose, they just don't go back and watch the fight. They might like the coaches might watch the fights, and it seems like that's it.
Yeah, I mean, if I do ever go watch my fight, I don't. I'm my own biggest critic. So I think that's the reason why I don't go do it. I'm pretty hard on myself. So I let the coaches do it. I let them say, even with our sparrings and stuff. I'll be like, I felt good, but I didn't do this, this, and this. What do we got to do? And they break it down and we work on that, and that's it. I don't harp on it. I don't dwell on it. And I think that's what I would do if I were to go back and watch my fights. So I try not to.
Got a couple more questions before we let you go. So you got a loss in your debut, but then you got a loss in the title. I mean, losing that title, does that it definitely stings a little bit more than just losing your debut, right?
Oh, big time, man. I did everything. I trained, I recovered, I had the right team, I had everything. Everything was good. That's what we all work for, is for that shot. Um, and it sucked, you know. Like I said, that first fight, I knew I went in there and I didn't train the proper way. I just did it to lose weight, just for another day. But
Mm,
I'm super thankful for that first fight. It showed me who I was, showed me what I have in me, and it showed me why I got into combat sports. So, um, it led me to that title. I didn't get that title. You know, that's everyone's goal. Obviously, that's the 1% of the one percenters. You know, so
yeah.
yeah, it stings. So in my eyes, yeah, I'm ranked number one, but I'm the first fucking loser, bro. I lost to the champ. I'm the first fucking loser.
Well, I can see you getting another shot, in the near future. I mean, Ryan Reaver just got 2 shots at the title, lost both. I mean, I don't think he'll get a third, but, I mean, somebody fights Dave, they lose. One more guy fights, I mean, you probably right there again, or, who knows? You fight one of these top 5 guys, and there's nobody left to fight him again but you
Yeah,
know?
like I said, only a few fights are interesting to me. So, I got a family and businesses to focus on. So that's gonna be my priority after this. You know.
So this is my last question. What is something that your fans might not know about you?
Hmm. My close ones here, but all around the world, man, I mean, they probably know this, but I was a troubled teen, a teen. Um, I did a little bit of time. I did 10 years of
Okay.
probation. And I changed my life, and that's why I got into the sport. It changed my life, I always had the discipline and everything because I wrestled, but getting back into it, sometimes you got to go away from something to love it, to come back to it and get that discipline back. So, um, yeah, that's a lot of people don't know that, but a lot of people do know that, and yeah, that I did a little bit of time, I did a little bit of probation, and saved my life.
I think a lot of fighters probably I've noticed had a tough bringing up. I've heard a few fighters say they've had some crazy paths, drugs, and all types of stuff. So fighting is definitely it's a great discipline. It really is. It's a great
Yeah,
discipline.
it is for sure. Luckily, I never became an addict because I grew up around addicts, so I never wanted that. So I had my fair amount of drinking, but I haven't drank in like 2.5 years now. So
That's what's up.
and it's not gonna happen again. You know what I mean?
Well, I can't wait to see you fight. Hopefully you get redemption. Hopefully you get another shot at that title. Before we let you go though, is any sponsors you might want to shout out or maybe your businesses or something?
You know what? I just want to shout out everyone that supports me. There's too many people to actually list out. I want to thank everybody. Um fuck. Man, there's too many. Slaughterhouse with Ryan. That dude's a badass, And we got some plans coming up. I'll probably have it on my gear and stuff. But I'm not gonna say anything right now. But we got some future endeavors coming up, and it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm sure it'll be involved with bare knuckle and everything too. So thank you everybody. Thank you, bro, for having me. I appreciate it. And
I appreciate you, man. You a friend of the show. Anytime you want to come back on, please do. And more likely your next fight, I'll probably hit you up anyways to see if you want to come back on.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't up there with Mike in Michigan, but I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work, man, with these bare knuckle interviews, man. And I try
Hell
to
yeah.
interview the big names and then the up and comers too, because some people just want to interview everybody that's just super popular and super famous, and I don't do that, man. I don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, keep it that way, bro. So
Yeah,
it's all about consistency. That's all it's about. Be
yeah,
consistent and keep it real. That's it.
yep. Well, I appreciate you. Hope you enjoy your day, man, and I wish you the best of luck on your fight, man.
Hey, thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
All right, take it
All
easy,
right.
man.
Later.
Peace. There you have it, Donald Sanchez, tough as nails. Went 5 rounds with Jeremy Smith. About to fight him again. It could possibly go 5 rounds. I feel like he does got a lot more experience on his belt. Like he said, it was no learning curve. He just jumped into MMA. Somebody's like, "Hey, you want to fight?" 3 days later, got the fight. Bare knuckle. Somebody called. He's just taking it. Probably didn't know what to expect. Like everybody else. I think early in the game, a lot of these guys were coming in like this was just a fight out, like it was a street fight or something. A lot of guys just like soon as the bell would ring, they just start going crazy, just throwing blows with no real skill, no real form, nothing. They were just a lot of people probably didn't know what to really expect when they got into this. And I think as new fighters come in, like doing bare knuckle for their first time, they probably gotta kind of learn what kind of fighter they're gonna be, and I think it's better to go ahead and get the loss out the way early, because there's plenty of guys with a loss getting title shots. Plenty of guys with a loss getting title shots. Um, but I'm looking at his weight class. I mean, like you got Marcus Edwards, who's been calling out Dave Mundell ever since we interviewed him almost 2 years ago when I was producing the other podcast, which I'm not going to say their name and give them no free promotion. But yeah, now you got Drew Stuvey's on the come up as well. I mean, Dakota Cochran, I mean, he's 3, but I think he's already had a title shot. He just had a loss recently. He'd have to go on a nice little winning streak. Right now, it's really probably between Marcus Edwards and Drew Stuvey to get the next title shot with Mendel. And, you know, if Donald just fights like one of those guys and then one of those guys fight Mundell and then they lose, then he he could be up for another rematch and another title shot, man. But I think after Dave's loss, there's probably people trying to smell blood in the water in that division. And then you got Platinum Mike Perry at the bottom who doesn't even want to fight. He doesn't want to fight any of these guys that are ranked in his division. I guarantee every last one of these guys will sign up instantly if they say if Donald like next say Donald wins this fight and then they like, all right, we'll give you the Mike Perry fight next. He's signing up in a heartbeat because he's gonna get more of a payday. Same thing with Mark Edwards, Dakota Cochran, Drew Stuvey, but like Mike only fights like ex UFC guys really, and that's it. It seems like it's like mainly ex UFC guys that he fights. And don't get me wrong, man. He's had some tough. It's been some tough fights. There's some tough fights. All right, we're about to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Make sure y'all comment, like all that good stuff. We got some more interviews coming up this week. I gotta hit back a few fighters and a few managers of fighters that are requesting interviews. We're gonna basically set those up, get those rolling. So we hopefully we'll have about 2, 3 more interviews this week. Shouts out to Donald Sanchez. Be on the lookout for that fight. That is BKFC 87 Hollywood, Florida. Stewart versus Gaffey, March 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't think that one's on the zone. I don't know if that's on the zone. I'm trying to see if that's on the app or Fubo Sports. Never know sometimes. Some of these DAZN, they put the DAZN ones last minute. But this card is always stacked. It's always stacked. All right, we about to wrap it up. Hope everybody enjoys their Sunday. Hopefully the weather's nice out there. The weather's actually a lot better out here in North Carolina. And we got bipolar weather like New Mexico as well, too. Like it could be literally cold yesterday and then hot today and then cold tomorrow and then hot. Or one day you could literally be wearing long sleeves and pants and then end the day with shorts. It's crazy. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Another episode of Paul Pickett Podcast. For all my bare knuckle fight fans, combat sport fight fans, definitely tune in. Check us out. Always interviewing a lot of bare knuckle fighters, up and coming fighters, or fighters that are the big names and established names as well. You know what I'm saying? And we interview some MMA cats on here, some boxing cats, uh, power slap, but it's mainly a lot of bare knuckle over here. But like he said, MMA, it gets a little boring with all the wrestling and stuff, man. Like, I don't like watching wrestling. I don't even like watching WWE no more. So appreciate y'all. Peace. And I'm out.